Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone. We are here on the newest edition here of a feature we have here on SK Wrestling called Inside SKoop, where I'll be interviewing a wrestler for a series of weeks, and we'll be talking about some really, really juicy stuff, getting backstage and sharing stories that a lot of people may not know about. So I've actually became really cool with this person here. This is a hand choice. This is a hand-picked choice of this person being the first batch of the series, and I was really excited. I've had this person on nice guns. He has nice guns at 60 years old. So I've interviewed him recently over the past month and a half, twice, and we just hit it off really well. And this person has so many stories. I mean, decades full of stories. So why not have this person be the first person of the series? So without further ado, former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion, Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie. How are you tonight, sir?
Hey, Chris, thank you very much for having me and choosing me for your first guest as the scoop time. It's scoop time.
Yes, it's scoop time. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Man. You've got the scoops. You've got a lot of scoops, man. You've been around for a long time.
Well, I got a few scoops on especially the subject that we both decided to talk about today, Patterson, because he's a French guy. He's from Montreal, and he was more known under Pierre Clermont, his French name, his real name. And he was also everybody knows Pat Patterson as the right-hand man to Vince McMahon.
That's right.
But he did so many things in the business. How many years he put in the business? My God, he must have put at least 60 years in the business, I think.
Oh, yeah. Started in the 60s. He started in the 60s. So, yeah, he's been a lot of work in the business, man. Yeah. So unfortunately, he passed away. He lived a pretty long, full life. He was 79 years old. So it was recently announced that he passed away. But he served so long, like you said, he was in the business for so long, and he was just Vince's, like you said, Vince's right-hand man. Throughout the storm, through everything else, Pat Patterson was there in the WWE.
If you had to have if Vince needed a question asked or something done, or it was Pat Patterson. He was but I knew Pat from a long time ago. When I was young, Pat Patterson was wrestling in Montreal, being a native from Quebec, Canada. Yeah, he was wrestling, and I had so many matches with him, Chris, you wouldn't believe it. I've had matches in singles with him. I've had matches with my brother Raymond with him. He wrestled with Pierre Matt Doug Lefebvre as a tag team, as Frenchie Martin. I don't know if you remember Frenchie Martin.
Manager.
He was it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we had a lot of matches through the province of Quebec through the years. And Pat was a guy that was so, who Pat I would compare him to? I would compare him to Owen Hart.
Okay. Nice.
He's such a nice guy. No, I don't mean as a worker. I mean as a person.
Personality.
He was so nice. He was always kidding around. He'd come up in the dressing rooms and he'd lift everybody up. Come on, boys. Come on. We got to give a good show tonight. And he was always very, very and in Montreal, he's an icon because when TV in Montreal was very popular wrestling locally at the time. And then when WWF came to Montreal, Pat had a what you call a brunch. It was called the Pat Patterson's brunch. It would be like the interviews that the guys used to do on the podium during a show, a 2-minute, 3-minute interview with the talent. And he was so good at that. He was really good. He had this gimmick at the time that he did, which was amazing. People are still talking about it today in the news everywhere. He used to have a guy from the States come in, or a foreigner come in, and there was French TV here, of course. So we'd all understand what he was saying, except that the talent that would come in wouldn't understand. So let's say I'll take an example. Hacksaw Jim Duggan would come on the podium, and then whoa. And then Pat Patterson would say, well, we got today, nous avons aujourd'hui un invité de marque, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hacksaw, how are you today? It's nice to have you on my brunch. Are you happy to be here? And then Duggan would say, oh, yes, I'm happy to be in Montreal, and I'm looking forward to stay for a long time. And then he would translate in French. He would say, I hate being in Montreal, and I can't stand you farmers. And he was always saying things. he was always saying things that the guys weren't saying, but then Hacksaw would look at him like, yeah, like, you know, he thought he was giving the message, but he had so much heat.
That's
but
awesome.
it was Patterson's brunch, and it was amazing. He did very well with that, and we did so many things like that with him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know that actually another. I'll give you a scoop. And the WWF came to Montreal in 1985, that they opened up the territory in Montreal. But in 1993, they did one house show just to come and test the area. And it was in the Verdun Auditorium, and they had all the talent come in. And Pat Patterson called me. I was in Pensacola territory with Robert Fuller and those guys in the Florida territory. And Pat called me. And I wasn't in good terms with Dino Bravo, which he owned the territory in Montreal. So I was doing my own little thing there in the small territories here and there. And Pat gave me a call, and he had me do the main event in my hometown, Montreal, for the WWF. For the first show that ever came to Montreal, I wrestled Samu from the Head Shrinkers. And we were main event, and I finished with my crossbody block over the top rope, a triple reverse when he went to send me in the turnbuckle, reverse, and leaped up on the second and up on the third, and I crossbody blocked him in the main event. It was a great, great time, you know, for me. So Pat, and then after that, 2 years followed that when they finally came in. Pat is the guy that negotiated between me and Vince for a long time. Like he's the one who wanted us. And actually at the time, it's so funny because when he first started negotiating with me, nobody knows this, but he wanted me to team up with Rick Martel. That was Pat's idea. He wanted to have no, I don't. I'm trying to stay humble here, but two good-looking kids from Montreal. Ricky Martel looks certainly great, and you know I was trying to hold my hand, but he pictured the two good-looking boys, Frenchmen from Montreal. And when we were negotiating, finally I told them, Chris, I said no. I said I want to go with my brother. I want to go with my brother because I knew I was going into a jungle, and I knew that I could trust my brother, and he'd have my back, and I'd have his back, and all that good stuff between brothers. But Pat Patterson, I could go on and go on about Pat. What a great person! Everybody loved Pat.